What is credit? What is credit? Like, what do you think about credit? What do you know about credit? How do you utilize credit? And in this video today, I'm going to be basically talking about what credit is. Now, when I first heard about credit, the only thing that I knew about it was credit cards. And I was told, by aunts, uncles, my parents, it's like, hey, you don't want to go into a lot of credit debt. You don't want to get a lot of debt. And I was like, okay. And basically, that's what I ended up doing. I ended up not getting into a lot of debt. Then once I actually started to get credit cards, and I started saying, hey, I could buy this on credit. I could pay it off later. Well, cool. Let me do that. And then what happened? Probably what generally happens with most people, it got out of hand. And I end up basically getting in credit card debt. And what I realized by reading the first chapter of this book is that I didn't understand credit card debt, or I didn't understand credit. And if you desire to be rich, you have to understand how finances work. And one of the tools of the rich is utilizing credit. So what exactly is credit? Well, basically, what I learned from this book is that credit is actually an opportunity for you to either have a loan or for you to be able to get funding or for you to even get a mortgage. Like, even those things are credit. Like, you have lines of credit, you have HELOCs, you have credit cards, and everybody thinks that credit cards are the only types of credit, but that's not true. And the rich utilize credit. And when you understand credit, credit can actually be a great benefit if you know how to properly use it. Now, for many people who get credit, it might be student loans, it might be a mortgage, it might be a car loan, it might be, a home equity line of credit, all these different things. When people get credit, they don't understand the benefits of it and they don't understand how to use it. And that's what causes them to end up misusing the credit. And when it comes to credit, there are two types or two parts of your credit. The first part is your actual credit report. And with your credit report, that basically shows the different accounts that you have on your credit. And when you go to lenders, this is basically what they end up looking at to see how you are actually managing your credit. Are you properly managing your credit or properly leveraging your credit? Or are you misusing or, abusing your credit? Do you have a high credit utilization and different things like that? Now, when it comes to the second thing that is a part of credit, that is actually your credit score. And your credit score is actually what is used to determine what is your interest rate going to be, which is your interest rate is how much they are basically going to charge you to loan you a specific amount of money. Or if you're getting credit cards, your credit score is how much money they're actually willing to give you. And these are two very important things. And if you don't know what's on your credit report, and if you don't know what your credit score is, this is actually what can cause you to end up having high interest on your loans. And this is what can cause you to have or get denials for credit. And honestly, I didn't understand that. I never knew that. But, thankfully to reading this book, what it actually showed me was you can actually get a free credit report each and every year. There are 3 credit bureaus. One is Experian, one is TransUnion, and one is Equifax. And you can actually go and get a free credit report from each one of those companies, and you can see what is on your credit. Now, this website is called annualcreditreport.com. And basically what you do is you go in there and you give or put in your information to basically verify yourself. And once you verify yourself, you can actually go and download your credit profiles or credit reports from each one of these companies. So basically, I went and did that, And I was really shocked. Like, my credit page, or really pages for each one of them, I think the average page was like 50 pages. But not only that, the other thing that actually got me was the fact that I had quite a few different things on my account that I didn't even know was on my account. And this is why it's so important for you to go and actually get your credit report so that you can see what is on your credit report. And once you see what is on your credit report, now what you can do is you can actually go and you can start disputing some of these items. And that can actually help boost your credit, because each one of these different accounts, whether it's an installment account, whether it's a revolving account, whether it's a secured account, depending on what it is, when you actually have these accounts on your credit, they have different weights to them. And when they have different weights, that means that they can definitely negatively impact your credit if it's not in a good standing, or it could positively impact your credit if it is in good standing. And that's basically what you want to go and do. You want to be able to look at your credit and understand your credit. And why this is so important is because if you desire to be rich, and like I stated before in the last video, being rich is being rich in your terms, not what the world says. The world says that being rich, you have to go and have, $1 million, which for some people, having $1 million is rich for you. For some people, being able to have $250,000 or just be able to live a life that they enjoy, that is their rich life. And that is what you have to determine. What does your rich life look like? So if you desire to have a rich life, what you have to do is you have to understand credit, and you have to be able to leverage credit to be able to live a basically a rich life. And one of the things that Ramit talked about in this chapter one book, or the chapter one of this book, is he talked about the fact that when you go get credit cards, you can actually optimize your credit cards. And many people just apply for credit cards to get credit cards. And I used to do that. I used to just apply to credit cards. Oh, you're going to give me $5,000? Cool. But what he said to do is you want to go and you want to do research on these cards. Because when you go do research on them, not only are you looking at what is the interest rate going to be, not only are you looking at if you're going to be paying annual fees, but another thing that you want to look at to be able to optimize these cards is you want to actually see, do they offer rewards? Now, there's different types of rewards. You have cashback rewards, you have travel points rewards, and when you actually go and get these cashback and travel point rewards, that allows for you to be able to basically have almost free money. And is, I guess technically it's not really free money, but it allows for you to get incentivized for spending money on that card. So let's say that you are going and you are spending, $200 to go on a trip. Well, if you spend $200 to go on a trip and you're able to get maybe like a 1% cash back, well, you just got $2 back. And that may not seem like a lot, but depending on how much you're actually spending, that could really end up being a lot more money. And I just use 1% just as for easy math. But with some of these cards, you can have 3.5%, you can have 5%, you can have 4%, and even depending on what type of card it is, you can even have like a 10%. So you want to look at to see what type of rewards you can actually get. And once you are able to find out what type of rewards you can get, you want to maximize those rewards. And everybody is going to say, oh, you should only have one credit card, or oh, you should only have, four or set amount. And that really just depends on you. And it depends on what type of rewards you're wanting to get, because different cards offer different types of rewards. And that's really one of the biggest things that I learned. And also he talked about the different percentages, and he talked about the different things that actually come along with you actually having your credit, as far as like the different percentages. And I don't remember them off the top of my head. However, if you go and you get his book, you'll actually be able to see these percentages. So yeah, that's basically what I learned from this book. You want to optimize your credit cards. Credit isn't a bad thing. Credit can be definitely a good thing if it's used properly, and you could even be able to get rewards and different things like that from these trips. So I hope that this video was helpful, and I will catch you all in the next video.